Hi guys. Sorry, I'm playing with keys. Shouldn't probably sound. I wanted to talk about loneliness and how it's kind of ruining everything. That sounds dramatic, but hear me out. When we feel lonely, we make bad decisions. Decisions we know better than to make. We change ourselves because we want to feel less lonely. We say we agree on things when we don't, when we know better. We hang out with people we don't actually enjoy, or go to places we don't actually like. And then we do that for so long that we don't know what we like or who we are. I feel like many of us as children were lonely, whether by our parents or why ever we were lonely. We weren't getting some sort of support, maybe emotionally, physically, who knows? You know. So then we're in situations with others and we say yes to things, like hanging out with a group of people, just because you don't want to be by yourself. And at first, that's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But then maybe while you're hanging out with those people, to be extreme, torture a frog. You would never torture a frog. And you watch it happen and you let it happen. And you say nothing while they laugh and torture the frog. Sorry, somewhere people are walking and being loud. But I'm not quite sure why. I'm in my car, as you can tell, obviously. The point is that we allow them to do things we wouldn't have ever agreed to or done or been a part of. They're passing by now, the people. And we stay quiet because we're a part of a group and we want to stay a part of that group. We don't want to be alone. And then eventually, as time passes and maybe new people join the group, you're the one doing the torturing of the frog or a person or whatever it may be. Just an analogy. And then it comes to a point in your life where you realize that you've been hating frogs for years, and why? You don't even actually hate frogs. You don't even have an opinion on them, actually. The opinion that was formed is completely from somebody else. My point in the rambling is that we can't make decisions because we feel lonely. We cannot make decisions because we feel lonely. Because we wish to not be alone. We can't do that. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop. As a group, as a collective, whatever. We have to stop. And when I say we, I mean me too. We can't just go along with things because we don't want to be by ourselves. Why are we so afraid of being by ourselves? If you've ever actually been by yourself, completely alone, and found a way to turn the inner critic off or just quiet it down, it's actually really, really peaceful to be by yourself. It's like you can see a little clearer. Just maybe the way the trees are, or the breeze moves, or just to feel into your body and the space you take up and the miracle that you are. It's quite beautiful, actually. And we don't do it very often because we're so afraid of being alone. I know that's a lot of people's fear too, to die alone, to end up alone. And although I do think that is quite sad and awful, especially to live such a long life by yourself, but we're not actually alone. And especially if we make decisions based on what we enjoy and what we like, we find people that we like and we enjoy, that we genuinely want around, that would never torture a frog, ever. And then we have fun, and then we're never alone, because they're always a text away or a call away. And we gain so many of them when we start doing what we want, what we like, what we enjoy. Not what we're trying to do so that we're not by ourselves. I think the hardest thing about this, deciding things and doing things because we're alone and afraid of being lonely, making decisions in our loneliness, is that the only really way to stop it is to be alone, to listen to you, to figure out what you like and what you want, to actually sit with you, to sit in the aloneness and not feel lonely, which is quite hard to do if you've never sat with yourself before. It takes time, practice, repetition, doing it again and again. But the more you sit with yourself, by yourself, undistracted by phones or scrolling or movies or even music, and then sometimes your thoughts too, sometimes they can be mean and you have to find a way to quiet those down. But when you can, it's quite peaceful to be alone. Just to sit with yourself and chat with yourself. Let yourself know that you're loved and you're safe and that you can do anything and be anything you want. And to tell yourself that by yourself in your aloneness. It's quite magical. It feels really magical. It does. You should try. It does. And I'm not saying we should all be alone forever, because I don't believe that. No, we need people. We are social animals. We belong in packs with family and friends, community. We really do. We need our community. But we shouldn't be in communities because we're afraid of loneliness. Because when you make decisions on loneliness and you're a part of communities because you're lonely, no matter where you stand, you will always be alone. You will always feel lonely. You will never feel like you belong. Not until you open up and become vulnerable with yourself in your aloneness. Then it's so much easier to be vulnerable and open with others in our mutual aloneness. And that's when true connection starts. That's when it happens. That's when you can go to the depth with somebody and see them through their eyes, through their shoes, and love them more than you could or would before. And that's where true connection happens. But we have to be brave enough to face ourselves first in our aloneness. I know, way easier said than done. Way easier said than done. I'm just realizing now my windows are very dirty. Sorry, please don't look at those. And this car needs a wash. There's also a little heart over there. There. My sister drew it. A little heart. So that when I'm alone in my car and maybe feeling lonely, I see it and I am not. I am not alone. Someone somewhere loves me, cares for me. Same goes with you. Even if you can't think or name of anyone, I care for you. I love you. I want you to be whole. And I want you to make decisions that bring you joy and make you feel alive. Not out of fear of being alone. No fear-based decisions. No loneliness-based decisions. Only full body yes decisions that bring you joy and happiness. Make you feel like you can breathe and scream and dance and sing. Those kind of decisions. The ones we're too afraid to make because we might have to do them by ourselves. For a moment, just a moment, think about all of the decisions you don't make, because if you did, you'd have to do them alone. That new coffee shop that opened that you want to go to, but you won't or can't and are waiting for someone to go with you. That amusement park, that movie, that restaurant, that country, that city. Where will you not go because you've told yourself you can't go alone? Why can't you go alone? Is it because of fear-based beliefs? Like you could be murdered there? Someone could kidnap you? Or maybe just you'll be lost. You don't know the language. You could get lost. You could die. Think of as many fear-based beliefs that hold you back as you can. That's where the work starts, the shadow work. Something to do while you're sitting alone by yourself. The vulnerable stuff to start sorting, unpacking, so that when you are in connection with someone, it can be real, actual connection, and not surface level connection because you're lonely. This isn't for everyone and it won't help everyone. but it will help some. And for those that it will help, you're not the only one doing this work. You're not alone. Even though it feels like that a lot of the time. We're not. There's people all around us constantly. Animals, energies, God. We're never actually alone. It's just a lie, false reality, a false belief to think we are. And of course that has some nuances because technically, yes, physically I'm alone in my car right now. I am alone. But also, technically, there are people driving by constantly, as you can see from all the lights. And there's people walking by and bikes going by. So I'm not really alone. Not on this planet, not even on this road. So that feeling of being alone it's really just the lonely, right? Do you know the difference between being alone and lonely? You can be in a crowded room with everybody you've ever known and feel oh so alone that your whole body aches. How many times have you been there? You can be completely by yourself on the top of a cliff. Nobody around, no animals around, not even plants, you're so high up. And not feel an ounce of loneliness. Feel more alive than you ever have. We're meant to harbor that feeling, the feeling of freedom and wholeness, in every place we stand, in everywhere we walk, in every room we enter. We are meant to feel that way. And when we do feel that way, everywhere, constantly, you can do anything. You were completely unstoppable. Completely. You could conquer the world. I don't suggest conquering anything. Bad word choice. Don't conquer things. But you know what I mean? Like you feel unhindered, unlimited. Because we are. We just think we're alone. But we're not. And the more we act unlimited and like we're whole and we're free, the more decisions we make based on those beliefs. We find community, we find connection, we find vulnerability in that connection, which just connects us deeper. And then it's a lot harder to be lonely. But it all starts with you. And being vulnerable and connecting with you. By being alone. Unfortunate, I know. The cure to loneliness is to face that fear. To force yourself to be alone. Uninterrupted, which is the hardest part because we have phones. They're real easy to make, scrolling. Yeah, I know. I'm guilty too. It's okay. But we gotta try, right? For you, for me. We gotta try. We can do anything. We can do this. Don't make decisions based in loneliness. And when you notice you are, take a moment, a single moment, whether it's you in the bathroom, a moment of time alone. Ask yourself why. Why you feel the need to do this. Why you are making these decisions. Like why? How do I explain it? Why do you feel like if you don't make this decision, you'll be alone? That's the question you need to ask. You're gonna go to a place you don't want to go with people you don't really care about, or you do care about, but they don't really care about you, and you know that. And you do. Don't look at me like that. You know you do. Sometimes we love with our whole hearts, but we shouldn't. Not that we shouldn't, you should, but some people don't deserve that, is what I'm saying. You're pouring into the wrong cup. That's usually when we feel really alone. And then we keep making those lonely decisions to keep them there because we care so much. But they don't actually care about us. And if you ask them about it, they might say they do. That they love you, that they care, that they want you there. But they don't show you that with their actions. Which means they're making lonely decisions too. Because they feel like if you leave, they'll be alone. If the only thing holding a connection together is your guys' mutual hate of being alone, probably not the connection you need. You know? Probably the last connection you need. Sometimes people can grow together. So if you've known them long enough and you want to be vulnerable with them, ask them. Talk to them about the loneliness. And if they truly care and you guys do have genuine joy together, you might be able to grow from that and learn, and both of you can be better. But if it turns into an argument or gets shut down, again, probably not the connection you need in your life. False connections will always make you feel alone. And making more lonely-based decisions. Genuine connections will not. But in order to have genuine connections, you have to do something you genuinely like, you genuinely want, that genuinely brings you joy. That's how you make actual friends, actual connections. Try it out. Let me know. I'll be making them too. I hope you have a good one. And I hope to see you again soon.